Hello and welcome to Series 2 of my podcast, Innervation, where we get to hear the wisdom and experiences of incredible women in science and technology. My aim with these conversations that you'll hear on this show is to bring out the humanness of STEM, science, technology, engineering and maths. I myself grew up in a very STEMmy household where we were always encouraged to be curious and ask loads of questions about the world around us. As a result, I ended up studying mechanical engineering at university, which is a great subject for understanding how the world works. By the end of my studies, I was able to mathematically model very chaotic behaviour such as turbulence, but it was only after university that life itself taught me that not everything can be explained with a neat mathematical equation. Life doesn't always unfold in a straight line, and there are lots of twists and turns along the way. And here on Innervation, I want to hear how other women deal with this. This week, I talked to Maria Ardilla, who's an energy engineer.
My name is Maria Ardilla. I'm from Colombia. I'm an energy engineer. And actually, I'm studying now my master's in energy and environmental technologies and economics at City University in London. At the moment, I'm just finishing my master's and I'm writing my dissertation. So I'm passionate about climate change, environmental technologies, and how different governments are trying to move forward net zero by 2050. So I think it's a really good time to be involved in this type of opportunities and topics that are, for example, are growing in the UK.
Yeah, I mean, energy is such a massive subject, and, it's really been at the center of climate change, and there seems to be, there's always been a real push to try and make energy more green. Why did you specifically want to get into something like this?
Because I think that now there are many different goals that they want to be achieved at some point. So we need to start now, because otherwise it will be impossible to do it. So there are different technologies and developments that are being taking part now. So I feel that being a woman makes a difference when you are trying to work with different engineering topics, and you can give a different perspective. So I think that the government here is very inclusive. And I was really impressed with the number of women that are working towards this. So I think that it's really important and interesting for me to use my knowledge to be part, to make changes, to give ideas, to be part of the innovation. So we are trying at the moment in the energy sector to just renovate it, to make it scalable, accessible, but also to make some engagement from population, because it's not only about corporates, it's also about individuals. So I think that there is a lot to do yet. So that's why I'm really passionate about that, and I want to be involved in this kind of topics.
So when you were a little girl, did you think, this is what I want to do when I grow up?
No, actually, I wanted to be a vet. So, but then after a few years, and of course, I was growing, I was seeing my environment. I grew up in a country where I was surrounded of beautiful nature. So of course I wanted to keep it like that, and I wanted to make it sustainable. So I started to look for different programs, and it took for me 1 year to decide what I wanted to do, because I didn't want to make any mistake. I said, I'm trying to guide my life in the correct path. So I think it's important to me to analyze and to see what I really want to do. After that, I found this program in my hometown, Bucaramanga, and I love it. Honestly, it was very useful for me. The professors there were really supportive. So I never imagined myself, when I was maybe a little 10 years old girl, talking about this type of topics or doing a master's in London. So I think that, at the moment, I'm very grateful. I'm feeling really happy to be in the place I am now.
What's it been like for you? Because I'm assuming it must be very male dominated. So what's it been like for you as a woman in engineering?
Yeah, actually, we were like four women only in my undergraduate program. So
So
it
how many in the
very
class?
male dominated. So of course, sometimes they were very like patient and trying to be like to make us feel comfortable. But sometimes you just realize that you don't have that much support from them, and it's hard because you need to deal with that and you need to show them that if you are a woman, it doesn't mean that you are weak or that you don't know what you are doing. So sometimes, yeah, I think that you need to stand up for yourself and you need to show them, not only with words but with acts, to show them that you are capable. And it's not uh, a question of gender. It's just about knowledge, about skills, about interpersonal relations. And I think that we are still working on that. We are still trying to do our best. But yeah, sometimes I feel like, oh my gosh, it's hard, but we are still doing it.
So how have you actually pushed through that? Because it does remind me of my engineering days where there was 139 of us in mechanical engineering and 8 or 9 of us were girls. And there were times where it was very frustrating being different from the crowd. How do you actually cope with that? Because there are probably other women who are in a minority. What kind of advice would you give them in coping with that?
Well, my advice would be to be constant, to be patient, and to look after yourself. Don't think about the stereotypes. Don't think about what for example, in developing countries, is more remarkable that oh, women is to be studying, I don't know, other type of undergraduates, but not engineering. So I think that just being constant, just follow your dreams, show the world that you are capable, and do what you love. So even if you are in the middle of 100 men, just keep there, be patient, be proud of what you are doing, because it makes you different and it makes you like to stand out. So I think that that's my advice, just to be very constant for and follow your dreams.
So, what are your dreams?
Well, my dream now, is to be part of this amazing energy transition, to be part uh, of the way that the world is moving towards sustainability, net zero, to cleaner and greener types of energy generation. But also, I love to include women, because from my experience, I knew how difficult sometimes it was. And I think that if when we find, for example, support from other networks, and we see that there are more women like fighting for this, doing everything to stand and to include more people and to make it looks normal, um, I think that that makes me happy. Also, the fact that I'm from a developing country, I'm from Colombia. So many people think, oh, maybe you are not capable, but no, we are. So being a woman from developing country, with an engineering background, it's like hard, but it's not impossible to achieve my dreams. So I'm looking for that. I think that I've been showing people what I am, what I like, and what I would like to achieve. So I think that at the moment, I think I'm in the right country to achieve that, to show people what I like, what I am, and what I'm looking for, of course.
It really sounds like you are someone who wants to fly the flag for what is possible, which is really inspiring because, that takes a lot of strength and courage. Um, are there any, do you ever have any times where you just are like, this is too hard?
Yeah, I think so. Sometimes I'm like, I'm doing everything to achieve my goals, but sometimes you feel that it is too far, like it's just like it seems impossible. But when you feel like that, I think that you just need to stop a bit. You just need to rest and to analyze and to look at your past and see, okay, look what all the things I've been doing. So I'm not gonna stop. It's like keep going, keep doing it, because we are humans and it's normal to feel like it's so hard. Maybe I should change it. I should stop it. But I think that everything is what we are doing is with a purpose. So we don't need to forget that. Even if we are around many difficulties, we need just to remember what we like, where we want to see ourselves in the future. And sometimes it's good to take a break, to rest, to be inspired again and keep going.
So, what are examples of things that are difficult?
For example, in my case, for me, it has been like I've been trying to achieve something and I've been doing many steps. So, in my case, just coming to the UK was difficult because it was a process. So, like visas, applications, improving my English, showing, taking a really hard exam to be accepted in my university. Then, of course, like learning the structures or the ways that here people evaluate you, because it's completely different. So I think that is adapting yourself to new things. It's very difficult. It's difficult, of course, to be involved with a different culture. So that's hard, and but it's good at the same time because it makes you grow, it makes you gain some experience, it makes you open your mind. So for me, these difficulties are remarkable in my life. For example,
What's the best bits about what you do?
I think that the best bits are like the people I've met, all the opportunities that they have been showing me, how they are encouraging me, and how, for example, different countries, they have different things to offer you, how different cultures, they can give you a new perspective. So that's what I love, honestly. I love that. I love how we can change lives, because that's really important. At the end, it's not only about, okay, yeah, we are helping companies to grow, companies to be more profitable, but it's also how we can improve people's quality of life. So that's something that really, really, really makes me feel happy.
So, what you're doing, required STEM subjects: science, technology, engineering, and math. So, you were probably a kid or a student at school that was more in the sciences than the arts, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So, was that unusual for where you came from? Like, because there is a tendency for stereotypes where boys are more into the sciences and girls are not. Like, how did you experience that?
I think that from my experience is I could like see those challenges, like, oh, but why you want to study this if you are a girl? Like, why don't you go for communications or for stylish or psychology? Or, and I said, well, because I like this, because if I'm an engineer, it doesn't mean that I need to look like a boy. Because I also love girls' things, of course, like nice clothes, my makeup, my hair, things like that. But it doesn't mean that I'm not capable to study maths, physics, chemistry. I saw that, and I think that yeah, it's still a big gap there when stereotypes are still remarkable and people are still looking at you like, wow, you are an engineer, you. So it's like, yeah, it's me. I can do it. So I think that yeah, gender is nothing at the end. It doesn't mean that you can do the things that passionate you. So
It's funny, isn't it, when people go, really, you, an engineer? Like, how does that work? Do you ever feel kind of pressure then? Because, sometimes, when you're feeling good and you're, maybe pass an exam and someone says, what, you? And you're like, yeah, me. But then there are days when, like, maybe you're struggling and then people go, what, you? And you're like, yeah, I'm not really sure I can do this actually. Like, how do you get through those days?
that are challenging.
Yeah.
Well,
Where you just think, maybe I do fit the stereotype. Maybe girls can't do this. Do you ever get that? Maybe you don't.
yeah, no, sometimes I did, of course. Sometimes I was struggling, for example, when I was studying, and I was like, oh, maybe, yeah, people were right. We are not like, we don't fit in this type of areas or with these topics. But I think that when I had those thoughts, I said, well, no, I'm not allowing people and thoughts to be in my head. So then I started to believe that. And I said, no, 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 no. I had to block all those comments and say, no, I'm capable and I will do it. And it was hard, of course, because you are a man doesn't mean that you don't have to study. You have to. So when I was seeing that all of us as a team, we were studying together, we were struggling with the same things, I said, well, I'm not the only one. So also they are struggling with the same things I am. And I had a very supportive group of friends at uni, so that they were like, no, 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 what are you doing? Or what are you saying? You can do it. And it's important to be those kind of people around you to remind you that you can.
So what is the best piece of advice you've ever been given by maybe friends or family or professional advice?
I think that the best piece is just like to trust yourself. I think so, is to trust yourself and to see that anything that you can imagine, you can do it. For me, I was like, no, why are you saying I can maybe do a master's in the UK. I'm not capable, or I'm not capable of studying an engineering program. But then that advice was really, really useful. Like, trust yourself that you can do it. And still, even for my personal life, it's like, for anything I want, I need to keep remember me, I can do it, and I trust myself. So that's one of the most important advices that I've been using in the last few years.
How do you keep yourself mentally fit and strong?
Well, there are a few times, mostly in COVID time, where I was forgetting my mental health and myself, because I had like the whole day to study, and I was waking up and then going back bed really late, and I was just in front of the screen all the time. So I had to stop and say, okay, I'm a person. And even if I'm studying or if I'm working of any type of activity I'm doing, I need to find time for myself. So I started to have breaks and to share with friends or to share with my family, to have talks, to ask, to try to forget about the things I do and remember that I'm a person, and I have some hobbies, and I like some type of music, of movies or podcast. So I think it's important also to find some time for yourself and do some activities that you can enjoy. And I think that that's really, really, really important.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. What's been the most humbling experience you've ever had in life?
Ooh, humbling. I think that it was when I was doing my internship in my hometown, because of course I was new. I was just a student and I was in the real, like, real world. I When you stop like studying and you go and face some companies or firms, or you see the industry, you are just like, wow, you are facing reality. So I think that it was there when I had to learn, when I had to be stronger, when I had to just to trust myself and to show them, because sometimes you are just like doubting about the things you know, because you never like think that they will agree or not, because you are just junior. So I think that life is about experiences and learning about them. Even if you make mistakes, it doesn't mean that you are bad. The good thing is that to have people like around just to support you. So I think it was when I started my first professional experience. It was really hard.
And you got through it and you're like stronger for it and more experienced. And I can see
Yeah,
that it
yeah,
really enriched you as a human being to have gone through that experience.
absolutely. I think that I at some point I started to see like the not negative, but the things that weren't as good as you wanted, to stop seeing them as like that they were affecting your life, but no, they were encouraging you, teaching you, and started to see them in a better perspective. Like, I'm not gonna be stuck because of it. I will continue moving and I will continue learning. So I think it was a really nice experience for me.
That's so awesome. So, Maria, as a human being, you know, as a woman, what do you think is your ultimate superpower?
My superpower, I think that I care too much about people. I care too much. I like to listen to them. I'm a really good. Um, I like working with in teams, in different teams. I like to see the way that they are. So my superpower is helping them, is listen to them, because we think that as individuals we are just like, oh, having an just one word, but we forget that we need to support people. We need to remind them how awesome they are. So I like to do that. I like to listen to them, to encourage them, to see you can do it, to try to convey some positive energy. So I think that that's maybe my superpower.
Oh, that's so sweet. I want to give you a hug. So you're doing a master's in engineering right now. Are you working alongside or you're purely studying?
Well, I was studying only, but because of the lockdown, I started to work part time while looking for a job in my area. So I've been like studying in the mornings and then working in the evenings, um, in a cafe next to my house, and I've been like realizing that there is a lot to do. Like, for many people, they think that you can do that, like, oh, you are working, you are studying, you are looking for a job, how can you do that? So it's like, it's just to be determined. Because if you want, you can do it, is the only I can say. So in my career now, yeah, it's hard, because sometimes of course I have to organize my time really, really good. um, and I need to study, but at the same time, I need to organize some interviews for job positions to start in the following months. So that's been my career at the moment. So it's quite intense. I think so. I think it's intense. It's time demanding as well.
Yeah, it sounds it. I mean, in terms of your academic career journey, then, what's that been like? Has it been a smooth road?
I don't think so. I think it hasn't been too smooth, because
I did that.
Because, for example, I think that when I started at uni, I wanted to do some internships. So I was just looking for people to help me. And of course, we see here the stereotypes. And that those companies, they were looking for a man, not for a woman. And oh, is that because they are not too strong, and maybe they complain too much, and we need someone just to do the job. They are very sensitive. And I felt that it was a little bit challenging. But after all this situation, I found a really nice company, very supportive, very like, you are a woman, but you are intelligent, you are capable. So starting from that, it wasn't that smooth. And now in the UK, of course, it has been also a bit difficult because I'm a foreign student. So I need a company that would like to sponsor me, and to see that, like, I need to show them how why I deserve that position, why I'm different, why I'm the most skilled person that they can hire. So I think it has been quite intense in that level. But as I told you, it's like just being determined, just being like, I know that there is something for me, it's something waiting, and I will find it, and I will be surrounded with really amazing people.
Yeah. I think when you really know what it is that you want, you end up finding it. But if you're leaving your destiny up to whatever, and you don't really have an idea of what you want, then it can take so much longer to find what is truly right for you.
Absolutely.
So in terms of like role models and mentors, have you had any, and how useful have they been for you?
Yeah, I have had many mentors in my life, and I'm really grateful for them, even in Colombia and the UK. I think that they have been, of course, professors and lecturers from my studies, and of course, like, my family. um, but they have been very supportive. They are always answering my questions. For example, when I was choosing my master's degree, of course, I had the opportunity to choose different universities and to see them. So I was sharing information with my mentor in Colombia. And he was a professor, and he was like, do it, don't do it. This one has it, this type of study will open you many doors, many opportunities. So go there. Now, my mentor in my dissertation, she's from Colombia. She's an engineer as well. She has a group here in the UK, like, something with women. I forgot the name at the moment, but I will give it to you. And it's how we can grow in this male-dominated world. So I think it was awesome just to find her and to encourage you, like, you can do it. Don't worry, keep going. I think those mentors for me are really, really important, as well as my mom and my sister, that they are always there for me. I think that mostly are like women in my life, my mentors ones, unless my professor in my country. But yeah, I think so.
So what makes a good mentor? Like, what's the best characteristics or qualities about a good mentor?
I think a good mentor needs to be honest, because it's not only about telling you what you want to hear, it's telling you the truth. And sometimes it's hard because we have an idea in our mind that probably is wrong. So that's why the mentor comes here and explains you what's best for you, and how you can achieve what you like or what you want, but in the best way. So it's important to see others' perspective and make you realize, like, wow, yeah, maybe I was wrong, or yeah, I needed the support from them. So I think it's honestly.
So there's a concept called ED&I, which is equality, diversity, and inclusion. And it seems to be becoming, quite a popular topic, especially amongst companies where they're trying to be more socially responsible, trying to achieve equality across gender and ethnicity and various other things. Do you think we need more ED&I in engineering?
Yeah, we need it. I think that the gap is still too noticeable. In my master's, we were like evaluating some companies and some industries, and we were seeing that women always were in the lowest positions, while men, we were in the top. So it's still hard, and I think that engineering has that gap very remarkable. So we need to do more. We need to include more women. We need to try to develop women career when in a company to make you to make that balance real, because they are saying, I've been reading many big industries, and they are saying, yeah, we are trying to include more women, but at the end you see the data, and it's not as the articles, for example. So there is a lot to do yet.
So a big question for most women is, how do they juggle the idea of motherhood and career and personal life? And there's just so much for a woman to juggle. That's not to say that men don't have to juggle things like that, but there really is a massive pressure on us because we are the gender that has to carry the baby. Mm-hmm. You're very young, but has this thought crossed your mind? Like, are you thinking about it now? Do you have ideas about it?
Yeah, of course. Because I had my sister experience when she gave birth. So I saw her, and I realized about that, like, she wanted to share with her baby. She wanted to have some quality of time. Mm-hmm. And I think that at this moment, we need to also analyze that. And I think that maybe for a company, if I'm going there, they will see, oh yeah, you maybe at some point you would like to have a baby, but we don't want you for longer, or we don't want you many months far away from us. But I think that everything is a balance, and while the baby is growing, you can share some time with the baby, but also try to find some time for what you are passionate about, because it's a big responsibility, but I think that because we are women, we have it. So I'm sure that we can handle that. And I've seen many amazing women just continue with their lives, doing their best, and showing the world that it's not impossible. So I think that, it will be hard, of course, I'm sure. But I think that at some point, I think that I will find a balance probably to keep an eye on what I like.
I must say that your generation has never been so strong when it comes to balancing. Like, I've seen so many women your age and maybe a generation before who are like, yeah, I can do it all. It's fine. Like, I'm going to ask for help. I'm not going to be embarrassed to ask for help, and I'm going to get help, and I'm going to do all the things I want to do in life. I'm not going to not choose everything. And I find that so incredible, because maybe like my generation, women had to literally choose one or the other, but I don't think that's the case going forward. And it's so encouraging.
I know. For me, I don't know if you have seen the Prime Minister from New Zealand.
Yeah.
For me, she's awesome. I'm like, she was with her baby in the conferences and everything. And I said, well, she's a mom. She's a prime minister. She has a baby. So, of course. I think that also having a supporting partner is important. And I think that men now, they are changing their mind as well. They don't see you as a house mom. They see you as a person, like, okay, we both are responsible of this creature, so we will try to help each other. So that's important as well.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting what the future holds in terms of the mentality of women and the strength and resilience of women, but also men are becoming more sort of supportive and mature about, as you say, their responsibility in parenthood. And so, you know, it's about genders working together. And I think it's been too long that we've been living with the tradition of men having a certain role and women having a certain role, and actually them not really helping each other out. So I think as a species, we're starting to grow up.
I think the same. We are starting to grow up. We understand. We are starting to open our minds to see, like, okay, yeah, we both are capable. We both can help each other. So at some point, we don't need to sacrifice one life. If we both make like a deal, it could work, and we both will be happy. Because at the end, I've seen many moms that they are just unhappy. They don't feel that their life is going anywhere. So that's not the point. Having a baby doesn't mean that you need to stop your life at all. So I think that that's good. And many young generations, they are thinking like, okay, yeah, if I want babies, but I also still want my life. So I think it's a good mindset.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I'm very excited to see how your career blossoms. And good luck with your masters, and good luck with placing yourself with the right company that's going to support you and nurture your career as an energy engineer. Maria, it's been so wonderful to meet you and talk with you, and thank you so much for being part of this.
No, thank you to you. It was an amazing time. It's really nice how you are listening to women, how you are trying to encourage all of us to be together. And I think that we will continue growing. You will see that. Thank you for taking the time to listening to me. It was really nice to meet you.
You too.
Thanks for listening, and please do subscribe to this podcast and maybe even rate and review it if you can. The more ratings and reviews, then the more interest from those trusty algorithms, which could help to increase the reach of this show. And you can watch the video recording of this conversation on YouTube on my new series called Esteemed Women. It's all about self-discovery and self-evolution on innovation. So as always, be kind and loving to yourselves, and I wish you all a great week.